All right, here's the condenser out of that Honda. The one did the compressor on for the front leaky shaft seal that you seen was flinging out the oil. And you can see the spots right here. And that one's a little moist. I mean, everything has a little coat of gray on it, but right here's one of the wet spots. Right here's one of the wet spots. Another one starting right about here. There's a wetter one right in this area. I don't know if the camera can catch it or not. And then when you look on the back side, you can see a little bit right here, right here, right here, and I think maybe a small one starting right here. Now, on the back side, if you look at these, they like to say it's stone damage. Well, in this case, there's a lot of stones that hit this. But what really happens before there's any stone damage, I've seen these with 6,000, 8,000 miles on them already leaking. When you get right down to it, and if you can prove it, you put dye and you run it in the system. Sometimes you'll find it right away, sometimes you'll find it. But what you'll find out, it's not coming where a stone actually hit the surface. You say, okay, all these stone chips, they cause these leaks. No, what you'll find, and I have to zoom in to show you, and I need something better, even smaller than this. Let's see if there's something in here I could use. No, this is gonna have to do it. So it doesn't matter if we're looking at the leak or not. But if you see, and let me get, if you see where these fins are attached, and you look at them really, really carefully, and let me see if I could get in focus here. Right where they're like electroplated into place. So these are solid tubes and they're individual. And these are fins that come off like a conveyor belt. They come off on a roll and they're placed in between these, and then they're like electrically etched or galvanized into place. You know, they're attached. So the heat transfer of the refrigerant inside this tube can release itself into the airstream through the fins and the surface area. Well, what you'll see is, let me push it over a little bit, right where they're attached at the V, they'll leak from right where the tube is like attached to the metal of the tube. And this is actually where these leaks are occurring. They're not occurring on the face of the tube, they're occurring where they are attached. They're failing at that point. And I've found this over time and time again, and I've made videos and even proved it and put them up on YouTube, that it's not the stone chips. Of course, in some cases it is, because I mean, look at how beat the hell this is. Honda did a really good job of putting this down in an area where it can purposely get pummeled with stones with no protection in front of it. Basically, they set it up to fail. But these leaks are not from stone damage. They're at the fins. So at their attachment point, like the weld, the bonding point. Then we'll have, here's the desiccant material. So I took the plug out of the bottom of the receiver dryer. This is the receiver dryer. It's built right onto here. So this is not bad. It's not all black. A little gray, like I showed you, the oil had a little bit of metal flake, a little bit of blackness to it when I drained out the compressor. There's a filter way up inside here. Let's see if we can get that. So I couldn't pull this one out. Some cars it's easier than others, but there's a filter down there. And there's a screen, a real filter. And that's right placed down here. This gets filled up. This is the bottom. This is the top. This gets filled up with liquid refrigerant here, and it passes through the screen. And after the refrigerant came through here, or no, sorry, I'm being retarded. After the refrigerant came through here, and it goes in here, it's in contact with the desiccant material to help reduce the moisture, not eliminate, reduce. And then it passes down through the screen, through a hole that drops down into this section, and goes down to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 rows are supposed to be semi-solid liquid, and now this is where you get all your subcooling. You get the most amount of heat rejection, the last bit for subcooling, because these tubes are theoretically, in ideal conditions, filled up with a solid liquid, in direct contact with the metal tube, in direct contact with the fins that the air flows by. And by the time they pass over to this side and come out the liquid, they have rejected all the heat they possibly can. Now on a lot of newer cars, especially with YF refrigerant, you'll notice because YF is not quite as efficient, they wanted to get even more efficient, they put internal heat exchanger tubes where you'll see the liquid line go into the suction line, goes in about 1 foot to 18 inches, and then comes out again. That's another subcooler right there to reject more heat. All right, so that's enough on this one. We'll get back over to the Honda that this came off of.